Hi, this is Pastor Steve with an encouraging word. This week we're looking at becoming more aware of God's presence by being intentional, by paying attention to the daily rhythms of our lives, the routines that make up our day. Today we're going to look at touch. We were made in the image of God, so the ability to touch and be touched is part of God's gift to us. We know when Jesus lived upon this earth, he was touched and touched others. So many of his miracles involved touching people, laying his hands upon them, even lepers who were unclean. He risked catching the disease in order to touch them. Let me read a scripture that reminds us of this from Mark chapter 10, verse 16. And Jesus took the children in his arms, put his hands on them, and blessed them. It is a blessing to touch and be touched, to have that ability to make a difference in someone's life just by reaching out and laying a hand upon their shoulder, giving them a hug. We know too, we are touched as well, that a hug on the outside goes deep into our hearts. One of the difficulties during this pandemic has been the inability to touch, especially those we love. Not only can we not touch them with a 10-foot pole, we've got to be 6 feet apart. But yet there's still ways to touch and be touched. We know that. We feel the cool air when we step outside, the warmth of a fire. We feel the fabric of our clothing, a leather jacket. We, of course, if we live with someone, we can touch them, putting a hand on their shoulder, as I've said, or holding hands. Lots of ways to touch people and be touched as well. Of course, we know there's music that touches our hearts. There is words that touch our heart. There are things we read, things we see on television or movies that go past the exterior of our skin and go to the place we call our hearts. We are made in God's image and therefore made to touch and be touched. Jesus touched the children in order that he might bless them. We too can touch the keys of our computer or maybe of our cell phone to send a text to encourage, to create an email to help someone, to let them know we care. We can touch a window with someone on the other side, knowing that they cannot feel our skin, our hands are there, and we touch the same window pane. We're sharing an experience. Each time we are touched, each time we touch someone else, each time we feel something inside or on our skin, we should be thankful that God made us that way. That so rich are the experience and the variety of things we encounter through touch and being touched. So today, pay attention. Notice the things you feel with your hand. It might be the wood of the chair you're sitting in, the fork you hold to eat. Again, the shower water falling upon you as you bathe. Although COVID days, I guess people don't bathe as much, do we? But you have the ability to touch and be touched. And so enjoy that and use it wisely. As Jesus did, bless others by your touch, whether it's on a keyboard or a handshake, whether it's by a hug or a pen that you use to write a letter or send a card to bless someone else. I hope you experience all the blessing God gives you through touching today. I hope in turn you might bless others by your touch. And that's a word of encouragement today from Pastor Steve.